But we do start with restaurants changing the way your dinner bill is calculated. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren St. Germain. Wendy's off tonight.
And I'm Jamison Euler. Welcome to ABC Action News at 6 on this Labor Day. The changes aren't just here, but at some restaurants all across the country. But not everyone is on board. It's a model where servers and bartenders are paid below minimum wage plus commission. It lets restaurants disperse a service charge more evenly between front of the house and back of the house staff. 3 restaurants in Dunedin are using this new pay scale. And reporter Stassi Olmos spoke with former employees who say they were let go over their concerns, a restaurant owner who says it benefits workers, and an expert about how this model works.
Unfortunately, now most of us have to struggle and pinch pennies because someone decided to switch to a model that benefited their bottom line, in my opinion.
Whitney Southall and 3 other former employees at the Black Pearl in Dunedin are protesting a new commission-based pay structure with a wage of $1 an hour. They claim they were let go for expressing concerns about it.
Technically, we were also fired with no backup plan. I myself have 3 kids I have to feed, so losing my income was significant.
I went to co-owner Zach Feinstein of the Feinstein Group, which owns the Black Pearl, the Living Room, and Saunders Social Club. He tells me the terminations happened well before he made any pay changes.
We had 2 employees that were let go for disciplinary reasons, and we wish them the best. We have 2 hosts that were let go because we absolved the host position at the Black Pearl to make way for a new sommelier position. They were going to be offered jobs at the Living Room here in Dunedin, but when we called them to discuss it, the reaction, we just thought separation was best.
I then asked about his new pay scale, and he explained there's been a lot of misunderstanding.
In the restaurant industry specifically, you typically have a big disparity between front of house and back, so service staff and cooks and dishwashers and prep cooks. And so what this program really helps to do is it raises the bar across all lines.
Here's how it works. With a traditional tipping model in Florida, a server makes a wage of $6.98 an hour, plus tips, sharing tips with support staff such as bussers and food runners. In this particular commission-based model, servers make $1 per hour plus 15% commission on sales and keep 100% of any additional tips.
The servers and bartenders are making more, but now we're able to, for the first time, be able to pay back of house people considerably more than anyone else in town.
This is what it looks like on the receipt at the Living Room. A 20% service charge is automatically added. Bartenders like Michael Day will get 16% of that, and the rest will help pay back house wages at least $15 an hour.
And then the gratuity is what it should be. If I give that razzle dazzle a little bit of good, extra service, I get an additional. And now I'm seeing, wages that they rival my best year in mortgages.
Feinstein shared the Living Room employee payroll with us to show that staff are actually making more than they were before the new pay structure. On one shift sheet, it shows the average front house employee made less than $35 an hour with the traditional tipping model, and then $46 an hour with the commission-based model. One server made $84 an hour. UCF professor of hospitality management Kevin Murphy tells me that this model could be a saving grace for restaurants after the pandemic.
I've gone to restaurants recently where they were like, sorry, we're closed tonight. We didn't have enough cooks show up.
While the national U.S. unemployment rate in August was 3.7%, the hospitality industry is double that, on top of an inflation rate near 9%. Murphy says it doesn't help when fast food restaurants are offering $15 an hour to unexperienced teenagers.
So if this model works out and substantial change can come across the industry, I applaud them for that, and I hope it does.
It's also important to clarify that a server will never legally only make $1 an hour. In Florida, a tipped employee must either be paid or tipped up to $11 an hour by the end of this month.
Although this is radically different, we think it's the future and what it's going to be here moving forward. Because otherwise, your drinks are going to get delivered by a robot and you're going to order off an iPad. And that to me isn't hospitality.
Hospitality professor Kevin Murphy says he hasn't heard of many restaurants that have successfully implemented this pay structure without backlash. But he says if this sticks, it could be the future of the industry in America. I'm in-depth reporter Stassi Olmos, ABC Action News.
We reached out to the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association to find out if other restaurants in the state of Florida are implementing a commission-based model. They told us in an email that they've only heard positive things from restaurants using the model, including servers making mid-six figures, stating the commission-based model is one of many legal methods to design compensation that incentivizes employees while providing some relief to employers from onerous wage laws.
So another topic that comes up in this discussion is tipping in general. And the United States typically ranks #1 for amount tipped for service. And during the pandemic, many people tipped more to support those working in the restaurant industry. And it's become a norm to tip upwards of 20%. Now, according to the Points Guys website, most European countries actually add a service charge for the waiter to get a small tip. So countries like Denmark, Australia, and New Zealand, they pay high enough salaries where tips aren't needed. But on the other side of that, countries like Japan, China, and South Korea consider tipping rude.